I'm Steven.
I'm Chris.
I'm Stargate Pioneer.
And I'm the French-Canadian sensation.
And we're the official GonnaGeek.com podcast, a podcast member of the Gonna Geek Network.
Just like the one you're listening to now.
The opinions expressed are those of each individual host.
Check out all the other podcasts
At GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
And get ready.
Because geekiness begins in
3,
2,
1.
Let's Geek!
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy, brought to you by the Gonna Geek Network. Bringing you the latest nerdy news and geekdom, here are the hosts of the show. Anthony.
No pants, all bacon and dick butts.
Naki.
Anthony, you need to get laid.
Willie.
I don't need boobs to like a movie.
Chris.
So when Chris doesn't know how to transition to a new topic because he's flustered, he just hits the button on the soundboard.
And sometimes some special guests.
As Magneto once said, "Ha ha ha, welcome to die!"
If you're a kid and listening, you rock and your parents are awful.
A brand new ATGN starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, we're back. Yeah, I don't have anything.
Back again.
I don't know if we're allowed to sing that or anything, but yeah, we're back.
Wait, what were we saying?
I don't know.
That was like 3 seconds. I think we're good.
On that note, welcome everyone to episode 215 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. I was really boned because all my notes last week had 215 until I then tried to upload and went, hell, that was 214. So if I screw up something and say 216 by accident this week, I expect someone just to correct me forcefully on the podcast. Does that make sense?
Just don't even
God
think
damn
it.
it, Chris.
215. 215.
I've got it. I mean, it's on everything I'm looking at right now. So we should be good. Should.
Numbers are tough, people. Math is hard.
I thought it was 2016.
Oh, I hate you all. I hate you all.
Nope, still 2015. This is a throwback episode.
Yeah.
Oh, think how awesome it would be. So many cool people wouldn't be dead yet.
That's true.
I don't know how to take that.
I'm not
Dude,
either.
2016 is the fucking slayer of legends. Like, I can't... It's been a while since we've had this many, like, amazingly talented people die in one given year.
You're talking about the fact that Billy Bob from Varsity Blues died yesterday, right?
Wait, what? I didn't know fucking... Billy Bob died?
Yeah, Billy Bob died yesterday. I guess, what is his name? Yeah. Ron Lester or Leston? I can't remember his actual last name.
Yep.
I saw...
Lester.
He had a kidney and liver failure, and they thought they'd turn things around for him, and then he got real bad over the past week, and he died yesterday.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, because I knew, like, I don't think he did a ton of acting after Varsity Blues, but I know he got a lap band surgery and had lost a bunch of weight, so he wasn't so unhealthy
Over
anymore.
200 pounds. He was actually a podcaster. He had a podcast, the Ron Lester podcast or something like that. I hadn't listened to it myself, but he was a podcaster, so we lost one from the podcasting community.
Oh, that sucks. Dang it, I like Billy Bob.
Yeah, I just started this show on a great note.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and guys, Naki's not here this week too, so that's probably 2 strikes for a lot of folks.
Yep.
We got no boobs. No boobs.
Let's go
this
looking
week.
for the third.
Oh, the third will come up. I'm sure I'll say something ridiculous. But hey,
I'm just stoked. I have a lower third again. Yay!
Yeah, it's sort of working the lower thirds sometimes.
That's the first time mine's worked in like 8 months. Fucking Google.
Well, we're going to see if Willie's pops up here in just a second. This is great for all you audio podcast listeners where we're waiting to see if something on the video stream pops up.
Goddamn Hangouts. It's not quite as good as Black Google. Y'all heard about Black Google yet?
No, nothing there for you, Willie. Your Hangout lower third is busted.
Nothing. Y'all heard about Black Google yet?
It doesn't like Chrome.
Doesn't like Chrome. Hey, guys, and guess what? This is the end of episode 215. We'll be back with 216 in 2 minutes. Kudos to Steven for that idea.
Done and over.
Done and over. But like I said, this is episode 215 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. We record live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern over at geeks.live and channel 3 of the Alpha Geek Radio / Alpha Geek Media site. So you can find us everywhere. That's the plan. Eventually we'll get back on Facebook Live again. I just don't have the ability to do 2 streams at the moment because I'm not as fancy as one Stephen John Drew. But I do have some backup
Very
this week.
few are.
That's true. There are 3 out of the 4 of us this week. I did mention earlier, Naki is not here, so we don't have any bacon mentions or anything like that. But don't worry. Don't worry. We have new Naki, a.k.a. Willie Nelson, with us today.
Just as hairy, but not on the head.
Ew.
I mean, because the hair, all her hair collected is on her head. Mine is
Yeah.
spread over the body.
Thinking if
That
you
was
shaved it
kind of
all
a
off and
knock
weighed
there,
it, it'd
wasn't
probably be about equal.
I don't even know how to
Or
take
more.
this. What's going on? Anthony's here, too.
Yep. Being offended by Willie's furriness.
You missed the real thing that would have gotten you going is
Chris kinda,
when we first started the hangout, Willie was shirtless. So you had a shirtless
Yeah.
Willie when the hangout started. He was like,
No-
"Where's
nobody
Bachman?"
I was still doing notes.
Nobody needs a shirtless Willie.
Why not? Ah, Steven's leaving
Everyone
because there's
needs
no
a shirtless
Naki.
Willie.
But he'll come back when he hears about this.
I was too busy losing a round of Battleborn.
I haven't played that one. Although I almost
Yeah,
got
forever still a
Overwatch.
game.
Overwatch was on sale for $45, and I almost pulled the trigger on it, but I didn't quite do it.
Overwatch isn't bad.
It's Blizzard. It's got to be good.
You want a good?
They play
You want
different
a
though.
good MOBA? Go back to what's it called? Awesome Knots. Play that.
Yes,
That's a good MOBA.
Awesome Knots is a
Knots.
fantastic game.
I like the fact that Battleborn has public or private versions of all of their maps, including story mode. So you can literally just go in by yourself and solo and play just a story mode. You can't do that on Overwatch. Overwatch, you can't choose anything. You choose your character. That's it.
You can't choose like to be in a party with friends.
Well, I mean, that's pre-set up stuff. But I mean, in the game, like you don't choose what the next map you go to is. There's not different types of maps. Because like they added a third type of map to Battleborn. So there's, ones where it's putting the minions in grinders, there's ones where it's go kill the other team's sentries, and now there's basically like a capture the flag type. So there's 3 different types of maps, and each one of those types has 2 different actual layouts. So there's 6 different maps that you could choose at the start of a match on Battleborn. Overwatch, I believe it's just random whatever map you go to. I played the beta on it. It was fun, but yeah, it's a very different. They're both the same type of game, but done very differently. And yeah, it's Blizzard, so I mean, it's beautiful. So the Overwatch has a bunch of really cool characters, and there's some awesome effects on it. Little like end of every match, you get a like best kill of the match replay video, which is kind of cool.
That is cool. No, I haven't gotten to play it. I didn't play the beta, anything like that. But if you guys hadn't noticed, we're talking games now. There's going to be a lot of game talk this week, though, because if you missed it, E3 was the beginning of this week. We'll shuffle most of the game talk towards the end of the show, because it'll probably be fairly in-depth. And I know that one Willie Nelson, our resident PlayStation fanboy, is going to have some sage words of wisdom for you regarding PlayStation VR and many other things.
I'm not a fanboy.
You're the fan.
I'm
You
not
have
a
the
fanboy,
Call
I'm
of
just
Duty
a fan.
PlayStation. You're
So,
a fanboy.
okay, let me rephrase. You are the resident fanboy on
Because
this
I love
show.
orange.
That's just weird.
It's not.
It was orange and it had a 1 terabyte hard drive. That's the only way to get it, unless you buy your own hard drive and put it in it.
I think you just
I mean,
love Call
come
of Duty. That's
Love
what
Orange.
it is.
Yeah.
You're a Call of Duty fanboy now, aren't you? Did you convert?
care.
PC doesn't even have a terabyte yet. It's fucking sad.
I haven't even touched Call of Duty in forever because I don't care that much about it. But
I
just
think-
to spite you, I'm gonna go play it after the show. Just to spite you.
I hope some
doesn't
12-year-old
spite us, it's
I hope
spite
some 12-year-old boy kills you, teabags you, and talks about effing your mother over the microphone in his prepubescent voice, just to
That'll
spite
happen
you.
before the match loads.
What game doesn't that happen with?
Okay, good point. Good point.
Battleborn?
Yeah, exactly.
There's no teabagging in Battleborn.
Or is there?
Yeah, that's true.
We can
And
find
I-
a way.
I found there's
really
a mute
hate
all
TV.
feature too, so you can actually mute everybody in the game, so you
Oh,
don't have
yeah.
to listen to anybody, which I like.
That's every game.
That's okay unless you're doing like team-based stuff. That's why I like some of these online games. I like the team-based stuff where you have to work as a team or you're effed. That's the fun stuff. That's what I loved about like the old Battlefront 2 with some of the team aspects of it. And that's what I liked about some of the custom Halo matches that are out there. Like Halo 5 Quidditch is awesome. The custom map for that. If you haven't
There's a
seen it,
Quidditch map?
they've made their own variant on Quidditch and it is fantastic.
Nice.
Yes, I watched it on YouTube and then I promptly went and downloaded the map myself so I could go play Quidditch.
You Potterhead.
What's wrong with liking Harry Potter?
Nothing wrong with Potter.
I'm
I'm
just
talking
kidding.
shit, Willie. You with your Call of Duty love.
Talk shit. I will
Fucking
say that fucking
Frat boy pro.
7th movie suck ass. It was
What?
boring
Are you
as
kidding
hell.
me?
With Deathly Hollows Part 1.
Okay, I was going to say
Neville
part 1 or
Longbottom-
2.
Neville Longbottom grew up to be a 7-foot-tall badass who lops the head off of fucking snakes with swords. That movie was awesome. He
That
was like
in
Conan.
Part 2. That was in Part 2.
That was in 2. He said part
Oh,
1
you thought
sucked.
part
1
one?
was boring.
Part 1 had a lot of camping.
Yeah.
A lot of camping. All right.
I never finished it. It was like they were just sitting in the woods. Do something.
That's
Do
'cause
something.
that's what happens when you break
Nothing.
a book into 2 movies.
Boy, you would have hated season 2 of The Walking Dead, Willie.
Yeah,
I did. I hated it.
Oh,
Not much
I
happened
was like,
during that season.
that's what made me stop watching.
so you are
I
a
was like,
Walking Dead fan.
I watched a couple episodes of season 3 and I stopped it. No, I'm not. I'm like, this sucks. I'm done. I'm out of here. Peace.
Well, I was trying to use that to seg into the news of the week, but that kind of failed because we went off topic. But hey, it's time for the news of the week because I can't do segues anymore.
Live from the AT&T studios on the internet. It's the news of the week.
That's right, awesome people. It's that part of the
Should
show.
just made me.
I can't even do my damn intro.
You should have just let me talk about penis instead. You should have said talk about penis and I don't know what to do. I'm flustered. Hit the button.
Then I gotta hit this button.
The flustered penis button.
The flustered piece. Oh, dear Lord. So, this is the news of the week. It is not, in fact, where we talk about penises and people being flustered because of them. It's where we talk about the news that we think meets our high exacting standards here on the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast to be our news of the week. And we have ridiculously high standards or something like that.
You can't say that with a straight face.
As high as my waist.
Wait, what?
As high as Willie looks.
I don't even know where to go from there. Hey, Anthony, what's
What
your
is
news?
it? Willie, the actual Willie Nelson?
Yeah. I've heard Willie Nelson smokes weed. I've heard that. I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard that.
What? No.
My news of the week is a good reason to why I spent too much money on Friday. For those that don't know and don't have a Hastings Entertainment in their state, the Texas-based Hastings Entertainment business has filed for bankruptcy and may close its 126 retail stores in the U.S. So most of them are in Texas, but we do have it here in Idaho. We've got 3 in Boise and 1 in Meridian. I think a couple other in the Valley. And for us, they've become one of the largest chain stores that actually order from Diamond and sell Diamond comics, not direct market ones. So not newsstand edition, but actual comic book store edition comics. And so they actually got to the point where they were doing like people could have a pull list at the Hastings and get your weekly comics on Wednesdays. They always do free comic book day, which is a big one because they order a ton. And they're also the largest retailer of Funko Pops that we have in the Valley. So it looks like there's a possibility that they may close other stores. There's also the possibility that they're going to restructure and be sold to another company that might just end up buying up all the locations, slapping a new name on it, and just changing the way they do things. So it's not actually for sure yet whether or not they'll go away. But some of the interesting stuff that I found on a couple different articles about it, this one on Comics Beat, is that apparently people were estimating that they owed a couple $100,000 to a couple different companies, and the actual Chapter 11 bankruptcy has been released. They owe $208,000 to Publisher Services Incorporated, $259,000 to Ultra Pro, so like the card cases and card covers and stuff, $836,000 to ACD Distribution, so one of the distribution companies. But here's the big ones. Because they started doing those comics, they owe $1.6 million to Diamond Book Distributors, so the biggest distributor in the world. They owe $1.6 million. They owe Funko Pop $2.5 million worth of fucking stock. So, I mean, it's not like it's a giant amount of money that they owe as a corporation with 126 stores, $4 or $5 million. But apparently, like, it's one of those companies where they diversify to the point, like, they have. You go into a Hastings and it's almost like a movie rental store, a bookstore, a comic book store, a toy store, and a Spencer's Gifts all fucking rolled into one. And just too much of like the Spencer's Gifts part of the store was just their stock was full of shit. that would sit there and no one would even look at it until it was on like double, triple clearance and 200% off. And the upside being that I got a lot of pops here to show later for what we've been getting into, because they've had a buy one get one half off sale that's been going for over a month or so now. And knowing on Friday they were filing bankruptcy, went in and saw that like all the electronics are gone, all the TVs are gone, and they're no longer doing buybacks. They're no longer doing gift cards. All the gift cards expire, I think, at the end of next month. They're going to stop renting, I think, at the end of this month. And then, they used to do, like, they would buy used books, used movies, used CDs. They're not doing any buys on anything anymore. So it's going to be weird to see what they do, because, I mean, that company still has, just in this town, they've got a couple 100,000 comic books and at least, I'd say, 10,000 Funko Pop figures sitting on shelves. So, like, that company has a lot of stock. So I'm wondering, it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
So I don't have Hastings around me. I've always wanted one based off of what I've read about the kind of things they cover. I'm like, this would be a store I would like. So it doesn't directly impact me, but from what I've read from people who do have them or have shopped at them before, it's like you said, they tried to get into way too much stuff. It reminded me of like the old Media Play stores in the late 90s, early 2000s before they went out. Part of what Hastings' problem was is all these exclusive variants, I think, required them to buy way too many comics, and they weren't going to move that quickly in some areas because people aren't going to care if you have like 200 copies of Venom Space Knight #6 just so that you could get a random variant in. I mean, and that's an over-exaggeration, I realize, but
yeah, it's a really good store, and I will miss it because for us now in Idaho, basically Hastings was pretty much the company that shut down Blockbuster. Once Blockbuster killed all the mom and pop shops, and then we had 3 Hastings pop up in Boise, and their rental fees were like less than half of what Blockbuster was charging. And so then when Redbox came along, between the two of them, our Blockbusters dried up real quick. But then now it's basically just once Hastings is gone, I think the only place in town we can rent movies is Redbox. There'll be no more stores that actually rent videos anymore.
Who rents physical videos anymore? I'm not saying that in jest for the most part, but okay, fair enough. Do. Because most of the time now when it comes to rentals for me, I get enough Google Play credit from my survey stuff that I just go and rent it from Google Play and watch it on TV that way. And granted, maybe my situation is a little different than others, but convenience comes into play. I'm like, I don't have to go and hunt for a Redbox that has this. I just push play. Now, going back a sec to the Hastings piece, I guess the real question is, what is the impact here for the comics industry at this point in time? Because at one point, Hastings was decried as the new savior, basically, because of how much stuff they were buying from Diamond. I mean,
it's going to hurt Diamond's pocket for sure, but it's what people are like, oh, they're the biggest chain seller. It's like, well, chain, yeah, but of the mom and pop comic book stores, like, they're still there.
But here's
After
the thing.
big boom of the 90s, we went from 5,000 down to about 1,200. I think it's climbed up to around the 1,500 to 1,600 range. Once those Hastings are gone, the mom and pop stores will get a little more actual people coming in to get pull lists.
So, but here's the thing, though. How many mom and pop stores got put out of business by Hastings, though?
Oh, there's probably a couple.
Yeah, I mean, if you were a mom and pop store and there's a Hastings right down the street from you, your regular customers probably kept coming to you, but new customers like, oh, let's go here. Now, this is your chance to try and make up some ground, assuming you weren't shut down, but it's tough, man.
We already had one comic book store close in town, and it made an influx at my comic book store. The trade paperback plating company closed down because the guy who actually owned it died. His mom kept running it for about 2 years just to try to sell off the stock and get as much out of it as possible before closing. But they had probably 100 pull list customers. And so when that store closed, I think Corbett at Captain Comics in Boise got another 50 to 75. And so when Hastings closes, I'm assuming he'll probably get another 50 to 75 again, just because it's going to be four shops in town that sold comics that no longer will have any stock.
That's interesting. So Drassman's in the chat room, and he says, we still have small shops. And we know he's in the Chicagoland area, so my question for you, though, is do you have any of the big chain stores or whatever that sell comics and comics and trades in your area? Because I think that might dictate what's going on there. And there's another side conversation going on. I brought up the whole thing of who rents physical media anymore, and Suncast had said poorer areas still have physical rental stores. He says, I moved from Metro Detroit, where there were no rental stores except Redbox, to the suburbs of Flint, where there are at least 2 video rental stores. How either of them are still in business, ... And then Dressman also brought up that apparently people in Alaska are still using Blockbuster, and that is correct. There are still a few Blockbusters left, but they are independent stores now that are just using the name Blockbuster.
Okay, I was going to say, because the company's gone, right?
Yeah, the company is gone. So we have the delay caught up with us. Dressman said he has no huge chains out here, so he's not really seeing the effect of like a Hastings or whatever and what that would do to the local mom and pop shops. The closest analogy I have here is within 20 miles of me, I think I have 4 comic book shops, and there's also the Barnes & Noble and Books A Million who are now getting into the variant business. And you can go there and get exclusive Books A Million or Barnes & Noble variants and other ridiculous stuff I don't care about.
Barnes & Noble doesn't have floppy comics. They have trades, but they don't have monthly issues.
They have a limited selection of monthly issues, but they have a ton of exclusive variants or variants that they have bought up, and I'm not sure why they have them. But in all fairness, they are one of the biggest Funko Pop vendors in this area, is the bookstores, surprisingly. Them, Hot Topic, and FYE, that's where you can go get most of your Funko Pops.
Yeah, see, we don't have an FYE, so our Pops were either at Hastings or Hot Topic. But yeah, we do have our Barnes & Noble has a good supply of Funko Pops as well. I hate the way they categorize them, though. They're all over the fucking store.
That is the problem. Especially if you go to a Walmart, too. That's where they spread them to the 7 winds.
Yeah, Walmart doesn't know where the fuck to put them.
That's why it's hard if you want to go and try and find one of the exclusives, when I know this is a total first world
Walmarts
problem.
in this town, I've never once seen an exclusive at our Walmarts. And I've been there like on the days when they're supposed to be released, nothing. I've seen them at Targets. We have Targets here, and I've seen exclusives there. I've bought exclusives at Hot Topic. Our Walmarts, they don't give a shit about Funko.
Our Walmart has some. Our Target has some. I actually found an exclusive Funko Pop at Walgreens the other day. Our Walgreens had a whopping 6 Funko Pops in them, one of which was the unmasked Black Panther from Civil War, and I was like, I want.
Nice. Yeah, ours, we have a couple Walgreens too, and they'll have like 4 to 5 in the toy section. Like, they never have a big supply, but I found the Black Suit Spider-Man there, which was a Walgreens exclusive.
Yeah, that is true too. They had one at my Walgreens, but it was beat to crap, so I never bought it. Going back to the whole topic about whether Hastings did more damage to the brick and mortar or not, SP brought up a good point. He said, I think the digital industry has done more to damage the brick and mortar comic book stores than Hastings ever did. Yes and no. It wasn't as damaging as I thought it would be in a lot of cases.
No.
And the most surprising thing that Marvel did is basically make it, hey, you get a free digital copy when you buy the physical copy.
And see, that was smart. Yeah, I don't think we lost as many comic book stores. I think there were some that went under after the digital comics thing really started, but not anywhere near as many as people thought.
So
people thought it was going to really hurt the industry, and it didn't.
There's an interesting thing you can do with Comixology. At least you could before Amazon bought them. I'm not sure if it's still there. You could have a Comixology portal based off of your brick and mortar shop's website. So you could subscribe to things through Comixology, but your brick and mortar store got a piece of the credit, which I thought was really cool.
And for Marvel, when you put in your codes, you can still choose which store you bought them from. And so I mark Captain Comics that I'm getting all my comics from, so they're getting credit for selling me the direct copies from Marvel.
I don't know that they're still getting credit for that, though, because I talked to my guy that owns a store here, and he goes, at one point in time we were getting a cut when someone marked it as being bought by my store. He goes, I don't think we are anymore.
Well, I don't know if they're getting a cut, but I know for a fact that they're getting credit. Like, it's showing that it's coming from their store.
Fair enough. I mean, I still shop predominantly for my comics at my local comic shops because there are multiple of them. But my Funkos, I pretty much travel around town. I don't buy them online because the thrill is in the hunt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I hunted up a whole bunch on Friday.
Fun is in the hunt.
You can't find some of them very easily, Willie.
I know, but go on.
I got me the blood-faced FN2178 from Target exclusive. That fucker was tough to find.
It's why I collect some. It's why I go to toy stores sometimes, because I try to find action figures that look cool that are hard to find so I can hang them on my wall. I mean, you can sort of see some of them over my left shoulder right now, some hanging there, but that's what is this room is basically full of action figures because I'm a giant child.
Plus, the really cool ones with the exclusives, if you buy them online on eBay or Amazon, you're going to pay 2 to 3 times, manufacturer suggested retail price. Because as soon as they hit eBay, the price is getting jacked up. Damn, that boy got a lot of toys.
That's not even all of them either. There's more in the house.
Pull them out and play with them.
Some of
That's
them
what she
perhaps. Some of them perhaps. But it's an interesting story on Hastings going away. I wish I had one in general so that I could have shopped at it and then could have made use of all the clearance sales they're doing. So what I'm hearing is send your clearance wish lists to Anthony so he can procure items for you.
Yeah,
I
because
got a list already.
there's lots of shit on sale.
No doubt. So I'll go next with
Bachman Claus.
Bachman Claus is coming to
Bachman
town.
Claus. Yeah.
I'll go next with my news because Willie's going to wrap things up in News of the Week discussing E3 because there's a bunch of E3 stuff.
All the video game talk.
A lot of video game talk, but I'm going to talk about The Walking Dead. And minor spoiler alert for anyone who's not caught up on this season, the end episode was the unveiling of Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan. And if you've read the comics, you know Negan takes Lucille, his best friend, a.k.a. a barbed wire bat, and beats the shit out of a character and kills them that way. Well, the cliffhanger was Negan was about to beat someone, but we never found out who it was. The camera just panned to someone getting beat from their point of view, and we never saw exactly who was dying. Well, AMC has gone to some pretty ridiculous lengths to keep any set leaks from coming out based on who died. And here's what they did. There were 11 people that could have potentially been killed in this scene. There was Rick, Carl, Michonne, Glenn, Maggie, Abraham, Sasha, Daryl, Eugene, Aaron, and Rosita. They all could have died. So AMC, in an effort to make sure that no one took any set photos and leaked anything out, or just saw that one scene and then leaked things out on the internet, they did 11 takes of the same scene where everyone died in each one of those takes. Or, a different person died in each one of those takes. So there are 11 different cuts out there of one of those characters dying so that AMC can keep secret who is actually being killed in the Season 6 premiere. That's
All right, so who here is current on the comics and know who really couldn't die in that scene?
I am current as of about 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, there's still some OG beginning characters from issue 1 and the early series that are still around in the comic. And the comic is about, I'd say, 3 to 4 years ahead of where the storyline is in the show right now.
That is true.
And then, yeah, it's one of those things, too, like, it was issue 100. It was a huge deal in The Walking Dead when this event happened. And the character that died, there was a couple, like, I read letters of people that quit the book because it was so tough to read. There were 2 issues in this comic that made people quit. One was in the prison. Originally, there was a serial killer that was one of the guys hiding in the prison. And Herschel's family actually had 2 twin daughters that were like 5 or 6. And in the comics, this dude killed the twin girls and chopped their heads off, but then their heads reanimated. So it was literally a sequence where you had the heads of 2 children that were zombies. And, like 5, 6-year-olds. So, like, a lot of people quit the book then because it was just too fucking creepy to see children being murdered and then having to basically be killed again. Because, it's fucking insane. And then, yeah, this was the second time where people read issue 100 and a lot of people quit the book. Because, yeah, who died, how they died, and how fucking vicious it was.
And it looks like they're going to try and make it that vicious in the TV show. But Steven brought up a point in the chat room. He said, Andrea died in TV, Bachman. Can't read the comics as material. Comics don't have a Reedus, i.e. Daryl.
Well, they actually switched Andrea and Carol, if you look at the show, because Carol is awesome. And in the comics, Carol was a piece of shit and died early in the prison. Everything cool that Carol does, that's just them recasting Andrea. Because Andrea is still alive in the comics and the baddest bitch around. She's now on par with Michonne. Andrea is that fucking badass. Yeah, I fucking hated Andrea in the show. They made her suck.
I don't disagree. But I just thought it was kind of cool that they did 11 different takes to try and keep those from leaking out. Yeah. And I really hope that when they put out the Blu-ray box set or whatever for Season 6, they include all of them. That is awesome. And as Steven says in the chat room, A++ for them doing 11 takes.
That is cool. But yeah, if the person that's supposed to die...
Oh, did I? I'm
the
sorry.
person that's supposed to die in that scene doesn't die, I'm going to be very upset with that show.
So Steven says using the comic character would defeat it all. I don't think they'll do it. I don't think they will either. But there is also a fact of the person that plays that character that dies in the comic has recently just signed on to do a movie that's supposed to be filming about the same time as Season 6 of The Walking Dead.
Oh no, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Or that could be just them giving a total F you to the comic fans, and they've already built his schedule around that, so it's not a problem, and they just want people to be like, oh my god, they did it, I know who they
It
killed.
could be. Because, yeah, AMC will do stuff like that. They like fucking with people.
They will. Steven says, I suspect they'll cop out and go with someone like Abraham or Eugene. I think Abraham's dead, personally.
I don't know. I think that mullet could take the bat, so I don't think they can
The
kill
mullet
Eugene.
could take the bat.
Yeah, it's too strong.
The power of the mullet.
I don't know.
like
The
a-
ballsiest thing would be I would love AMC forever if they had the balls to kill Daryl, because that's the one that like the fans are saying like if they killed Daryl we riot, and yeah, like it wouldn't even matter at all to the comics fans because Daryl doesn't fucking exist in the real comics. He's just a made up character for the TV show.
That is true. There's so many.
So it wouldn't
see a little
change any of the
chaos.
storyline. Like it wouldn't affect anything other than part of the Hilltop storyline because of a certain character being missing. Something that happens is much more difficult.
There's
I'm
so
trying
much,
to keep it as vague as possible without saying.
Yeah, there's so much
who's
speculation.
supposed to die.
I have no idea which way they're going to go. Steven also brought up, he goes, Lauren Cohan was speculated because of her movie last year and the haircut. He goes, it's all up in the air. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious to see where they go with it. And remember, I was still one of those people that was really pissed off at the end of the season that they didn't reveal who they killed. I was not like a venomous fan like you saw online that was spewing hatred towards Chris Hardwick and Robert Kirkman. But I was one of those fans going, what the fuck, guys? I mean, you build up this whole season about the reveal of Negan, and then the one awesome thing Negan does, or the first awesome thing Negan does, let me rephrase, you don't
there's a
show
lot
it?
of awesome. Well, I mean, how many fucking people are going to tune in to episode 1 next season? Like that will probably be their highest rated episode.
Yeah,
live
because all
on
those
AMC.
people that were like, I quit because I'm pissed off by this. Yeah, they're full of shit. They'll be back for
They'll all
season
be
1 of the next episode 1 of the next season.
Here was the amazing thing. I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and I've watched that sequence. So, I mean, I saw how good he was as Negan, and I liked it. But, motherfucking, they said that Henry Rollins was up for that role. And I really want to see Henry Rollins as Negan now, because, damn, that would be cool.
What do I know him from? Because the name sounds familiar.
Henry Rollins, the lead singer of Black Flag,
Yeah, what do
Yeah,
I
been
Henry
on-
Rollins.
Sons of Anarchy, spoken word tours. He has his own podcast. He's basically the smartest guy in rock and roll.
Okay, he was on Heat, Bad Boys 2.
Yeah, he's been in tons of stuff.
Yeah.
He just did a movie called
He's that
He Never
guy.
Died, where he played Kane, who's been alive since the dawn of time, and he's a vampire.
As in Cain and Abel?
Yeah, he was the original murderer, and because of that, he became a vampire and never died. And it's Henry Rollins playing Kane, the unkillable vampire. It's fucking fantastic. If you guys want to go check it out, I saw it was on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on the queue, but it was. It's a great fucking flick.
Sorry, guys.
Henry Rollins is awesome.
Sorry, guys. I'm happy with Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Oh, I like
I'll
him,
say
but
it.
goddamn, you talk
Sorry.
about comic book credit. He's fucking the comedian. He's Batman's dad. Now he's fucking Negan. Holy shit.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
I do want to say, I thought for a second that you were talking about he played Kane in the WWE.
No. Creepily, though, the guy that played Kane in WWE is doing insurance sales now. And so you can YouTube and find Jacob, whatever his real name is, and he's putting up videos on his private YouTube channel where he's selling insurance and explaining, like, home insurance versus renter's insurance and shit like that. It is creepy as fuck to see because basically he's just a big, nice guy when he's not playing the character Kane. But it's really creepy to see him, like, trying to sell you insurance.
That's odd.
And he
scary.
seems a lot smarter than he looks, too.
You're talking about Dr. Isaac Yankem, right?
Yeah. Dr. Isaac Yankem, DDS. The twin Undertaker.
Yeah.
the burn victim Kane.
So we'll wrap up
Let's
this
say he
talk.
sells you fire insurance.
He lights JR
He should
on
sell
fire.
everybody fire.
So we'll wrap up this talk on Walking Dead because Draftsman kind of described Walking Dead very well, I think. He goes, being a fan of The Walking Dead and or Game of Thrones is like being in an abusive relationship. We get to love people and then they kill them violently. He is
That's the whole point.
100% right.
Ooh, I've been getting caught up on Game of Thrones too, finally.
I don't watch Game of Thrones.
I saw
That's
there was a character on their show that died last year that everybody flipped out about, and then was resurrected this year. That was really fucking cool.
Yeah, I heard about that. The girlfriend watches Game of Thrones, and she was talking
Yeah, I
about
didn't
that.
see. I already know who it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Already know who
everybody
you're
knows
talking
all
about.
the spoilers from
Haven't
this
seen
season on
last
Game of
season.
Thrones, but I'm halfway through it, or I'm like 3 or 4 episodes in for last year's, and it's some good shit.
So before we go to Willie's part of oh, go ahead, Willie.
I've heard no spoilers. I've heard no spoilers from it, but I already know who the fuck you're talking about. It's that simple.
Hodor.
Indeed. So before we give it to Willie to wrap up our news of the week, which will probably be the story that wraps up the show because there's so much E3 news, I did want to take a chance to remind folks we are part of the Gonna Geek Network. Over at GonnaGeekNetwork.com, you can find all things good and nerdy and another 16 different podcasts there right now. And each week we try to highlight another show on the network. This week I want to talk about Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. number 130. It's all about Season 2, Episode 1 of Daredevil, entitled Bang. The Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents Stargate Pioneer, Haley, and Lauren discuss the Daredevil Season 2 premiere episode Bang, and they announced their new Marvel Collector Core Women of Power crate giveaway. Now, you should also keep in mind, we are part of a network. Lauren was at Comicpalooza live this weekend. There were some really cool videos that were taken at Comicpalooza. She had Eric from Art House Legends as her cameraman. So go over to youtube.com/GonnaGeek. Check out some of the videos that were taken at Comicpalooza. Her interview with John Ostrander was awesome. It was really good. And I think if you're watching the Google live stream right now, those cards might have popped up on here because I was playing around with cards beforehand. But we've got 3 videos from Comicpalooza that are up there. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to have a lot of live coverage from Comicpalooza. There is a ton of cool stuff, and Lauren and Eric did an awesome job out there. Lauren's interviews, they're fantastic. I haven't gotten to listen to all of them, but what I did see, very, very good. So some great content to go check out over at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Good job, guys.
Good job, guys. Hey, Willie, what happened at E3?
Nothing at all happened. No announcements, no games.
Yeah,
Nothing.
Yeah, I didn't take notes or anything. I mean, I don't know.
Oh,
He's got his notebook. This means it's serious internet business.
All right, I'll
Super
take
serial
that
here,
then.
guys. I do have to say I really only focused on the Sony press conference because, I mean, what was there any better press conference than Sony's this year? Was there a better one?
No, Sony had the best E3 event this year. I fully acknowledge that.
Well, since I know nothing
And let's
about
not
what they
forget-
talked about at a release, I don't know. What was the best one?
Let's not forget that 3 out of the 4 of us have PS4s. There's one lagging behind. I wonder which one that one is.
Xbox for life. No, it's just that's what I own. I don't care.
All right, let's just jump into it. I'm going to go kind of just the highlights of the Sony press conference. First thing they opened up with, full orchestra. They had 2 live demos of them actually doing gameplay where someone was off on the in the balconies playing it. The orchestra was playing the background music for the live demo. I wish I could do that. That'd be an amazing thing to have.
That's kind of cool.
But right after that, without anyone coming out and saying anything, they start with the God of War demo of a live gameplay, someone doing it, full orchestra going. It is a actual remake of the game. It's not like a sequel or anything. It is a actual remake from what I hear, done by Santa Monica, of course. They've done all the other God of Wars except for the PSP ones.
So it's a remake
It
of the
looks
first game?
fantastic. No, it's not. No, it's like a redo over entirely. They're not doing Greek mythology. They're doing Norse mythology
That's
now.
what I'd heard too. Is it was Norse mythology
okay.
now?
So when you say a remake of the game, I'm thinking like because they just did Ratchet and Clank,
Oh, yeah.
where the new PS4 one is the redo of the original Ratchet and Clank. So you're talking about a
What's the word I'm
restructuring of the whole storyline. Everything's different.
Yeah, what's the word? Like when they come back for the new movie, it's a
It's a
reboot.
soft reboot.
If you go from Greek
reboot.
to
That's
Norse,
the word I was thinking.
yeah. You go from Greek to Norse, that's a pretty hard reboot. I'm thinking.
Reboot.
Plus,
That's a hard, cold reboot.
Kratos has a badass beard now and a kid.
Nice. Is it blonde?
Yeah, that's what I
You
was
got,
gonna
like, a big
say.
dwarven
Yeah,
beard?
it starts up. No, it's like gray. But it starts out where you see some kid playing with some toys, and someone says, "Boy, come over here." And he goes in and says, "Grab your mother's knife." And he picks up the knife, and all of a sudden, here comes Kratos out of the shadows, beard all full on, and saying, "I'm hungry. Hunt." And it's like, what? Yeah, that's going to be probably a definite purchase.
I'm shocked
the next
you're going
one,
to purchase
that
God
looks
of War.
Really, the next game that looked really good is, I've heard it was at E3 last year, Horizon Zero Dawn, made by Guerrilla Games, who did the Killzone games since the PS2. I think that's all they really worked on is the Killzone games. I'm not sure if they branched out off the top of my head, but this looks like an open world, kind of like robot animals / dinosaur looking things running rampant.
Yeah, isn't the main character
post-apocalyptic? It looks like
Isn't the main character riding around like a dinosaur or something like that, if I remember correctly?
In the live demo they played, she does like take a staff and stab like something that looks like a steer or something, and then she kind of recodes it to be kind of listen to her, and she rides it off to a little village where she heard there's some problems going on.
Interesting.
So that looks pretty interesting. Oh yeah, and I do know that's coming out in either January or February. I cannot remember exactly which month, but it's one of those 2 months. It did get pushed back from like fall this year to then.
It's
okay. Take your time.
February.
Make your game good.
Yeah, it's February 28th, 2017 for Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh yeah. And now the next one I have listed down here is Hideo Kojima's new game from Kojima Production. Now let me get this name right because it's a little weird. Death Stranding.
That is correct.
What?
And yeah, Death
That doesn't really
Stranding.
roll off the tongue.
No, it doesn't. It's very harsh. But hey, in the trailer they show, you have Norman Reedus, who has a C-section with an oil baby. It's a weird trailer. I expect nothing less of Kojima, though.
No, it's super weird.
Watch it. It's weirder than a fragrance commercial.
From Boomerang.
Okay. And then here goes some more exciting news. They also came out with some VR games they have listed out. They have an X-Wing pilot at full VR, like it's probably just you going around shooting a bunch of different stuff in an X-Wing. That sounds awesome to me. I'm not even a Star Wars guy fully. I appreciate it. I wouldn't mind being in the middle of a X-Wing cockpit, just boom, 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 pew, 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 pew.
That'd be cool.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah. They look really cool.
And then next one, a game called Farpoint is in VR. I'm not sure too much of it besides what they show. The trailer looks like you're out on some planet out in the stars. You're trying to find out what's going on. They didn't show much. It looks good. I doubt I'll probably play it unless they have a demo. But then a big VR game they showed, or the second the largest big one, Batman VR, made by Rocksteady themselves, makers of the Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. That looks, from what I heard, someone who did get a first-hand hands-on play of it, and they gave double thumbs up.
So what's the gameplay like on that one? Is it you're basically going to be solving crimes using detective mode, or are you actually going out as Batman and kicking some ass?
They said what they have seen of it, probably like a little 15-minute cut of it, because it's probably going to be like an hour to 2 hours, depending upon how you play. He said he started off. Oh, I heard all this from Kind of Funny podcast, Kind of Funny Games. Greg Miller. I heard all this from him. Where pretty much it's you walking up your Bruce Wayne at first, and then has you actually playing the notes on the piano to open up the secret entrance, and then you suiting up as Batman, and you go down the elevator and everything. You can look around the Batcave. It was like,
that's cool.
But I'm not sure. other than the detective mode stuff, I'm not sure what's going to be a part of it. But hey, you got Mark Hamill back as the Joker after his 13th time saying he's done with it.
Awesome.
No offense to Mark Hamill. I mean, keep doing the Joker. Just stop saying you're not going to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then,
He's Mark Hamill. He can say whatever he
big
wants.
VR thing is they showed fair enough. But the big one for VR, they showed a trailer for Resident Evil 7, and they said that will be full on from beginning to end of the whole game will be playable in VR. And that's the first like AAA full game that they have mentioned be in VR.
But it is not VR mandatory.
And if you have a PS4 right now, you No, not VR mandatory. It can be played VR. You can right now if you have a PS4 download the demo. I already did and played through it. It is really interesting. I don't get a sense of Resident Evil because there's no zombies or anything. There's like a redneck family. You're stuck in their house. There needs to be a little bit more because they don't. The information on it's very limited. And then they also had announced a remake of Crash 1, 2, and Warped. Some people are really excited about Crash Bandicoot. I never got the chance to play him as a kid, but hey, some people really love it, including the girlfriend. That was her news of the whole E3. It was, yay, Crash Bandicoot!
That's awesome.
And I got only 2 more things. Don't worry, just 2 more things. And then a game called Days Gone. It's by Ben Studios. The last thing I know they worked on was the Uncharted Golden Abyss for the Vita. That game was really well done. It is hard to tell that it wasn't made by Naughty Dog. They did such a good job. And also, it looks like it should have been on the PS3, how good it looked, but it was on the handheld of the Vita. I played through it, had a grand old time. It was an awesome chapter of the Uncharted legacy. But this game used to be called Dead Don't Ride. I think that was a working title, but it's now called Days Gone. It looks like World War Z, the game, with how many... they said they're not really zombies because they're still living, but I guess these crazy people, a whole horde of them, how many are chasing you? They're climbing over each other just to get to you. It looks like World War Z, but a lot more action and actually looks good.
Fucking rage monsters.
Yeah, that movie. God, that movie was such a disappointment when I wanted to see it. But the big news, my most favorite of the news, Spider-Man. Exclusive to the PS4. Last week I said it was going. Rumors said it was going to be made by Sucker Punch. That turned out to be wrong. It's being made by Insomniac, which technically they are a second-party studio because they have made games for Microsoft as well. What was it? What was that game they made? Oh my God, I cannot think of it.
I don't know.
You're that weird guy. Everyone turned to mutants from drinking energy drink.
Oh,
Oh well.
I know which one you mean, and now I can't remember the name of it to save my
Yeah, it
life.
was their knockoff version of
Sunset
the
Overdrive, was
superhero
that
one.
it?
That sounds
Sunset
right.
Overdrive. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it was their knockoff version of Infamous.
I kind of wish. From what I hear, it played more like you're because there's a lot more like comboing into it. Like as you're taking people out, you're like grinding on rails or something. It's more like you're playing Tony Hawk and shooting down mutants.
It was a
That's
lot
what I
more
heard
like.
I never actually played it myself.
It was a lot like the old Jet Set Radio games from the Xbox and the Xbox 360. That's more what it felt like because it was a free download with games with gold. So I've played it and it was actually pretty fun.
I mean, I kind of wish it was made by Sucker Punch, just because they know they're open world superhero games, like I said last week. But hey, Insomniac, go for it. Make a
do
great
good
fucking
stuff.
PS4 exclusive, Spider-Man. And god damn it, you better make those webs. Each web better hit a goddamn anchor point. I swear to God, if you're just
bullshit.
fucking in the middle of the air. Webs don't hit anything. No.
Just web
Go back to
swinging
PS.
to
They did it on
nothing.
the PS2.
They did it with Spider-Man 2, man.
That is the most ridiculous thing.
I loved it. Just web swinging out of nowhere.
No, Spider-Man
Web
2
swinging
actually
out.
Spider-Man 2 actually anchored
they-
to buildings. Yeah,
Yeah.
Willie's right.
Yes. And they took that away in later games for no reason whatsoever. They had it,
Limitations,
and then they got rid of
man.
it. It makes no sense to me.
Nobody likes to be limited when they're playing a superhero.
PS2 had it, and they didn't do it on the PS3. They didn't do it on the PS3. There's no excuses. No excuses.
The Spider-Man
That was the
videos.
most fun about that game was... Go ahead.
I would say the Spider-Man video is the only thing I saw coming out of E3. I'm still not sold on the costume. That giant white spider is just too fucking big.
I don't
It looks
care if it's
weird.
a costume. It doesn't bother me at all.
You're never going to see
looks
the
I'm
like
white
sure there would
spider.
be
Punisher.
alternate costumes. You know there is.
Yeah, I
You
need
know
some
there's going to be
Spider-Man.
alternate costumes. Don't even...
I need the Death's Head costume
You
from
probably
Spider-Man
get that.
2099.
It's probably going to be an unlockable skin. I wouldn't be shocked. But yeah, seriously, the Spider-Man reveal made me go, I kind of want a PS4, but I can't.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't need another console. I don't,
Yeah,
because there was
yeah.
also Nintendo
Rid of the
news.
Xbox One.
There was also
Get you a
Nintendo.
4.5.
No, guys. I don't even play my Xbox as much as I should.
Neo.
Why am I going to do that when I have all sorts of
Spider-Man.
Xbox One games, guys?
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
So I don't know if I missed this.
Batman VR.
I don't care about VR. VR is a gimmick. It'll be gone in a few years anyways.
Yeah.
So the real question I have, though, speaking about VR, had I missed it, or was this the first time that Sony announced the price for PlayStation VR at E3?
I'm not sure. I think they did it PSX back in December, but I'm not. But I guess they might not have, or sometime.
I
It might
don't-
be the first time they announced it.
I don't
probably.
remember, but since I teased it, they did say it'll be $399 for PlayStation VR. It will work on the current generation of PlayStation 4 consoles. Caveat being, you have to have the PlayStation Eye and PlayStation Move controllers to be able to do so. So it is a big difference that PlayStation
But-
has between both Nintendo and Microsoft.
So no, and hell
Well,
no.
I mean, you don't have to. No, you don't have to have the Move controllers. Some games you might have to, but not all of them.
Okay.
You probably there'll probably be a bunch you just be using the regular controller. But I mean, hell, if you're that much of a fanboy of PlayStation and you're going to be getting the VR, chances are you already have the camera and a Move stick or two.
That's true.
I mean,
Well, if you're willing to drop $400 on the VR set, you're not going to balk at the idea of going and buying the eye toy.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Their VR is the cheapest VR out there that is not like strap your cell phone to your face VR. Because what is Oculus Rift is $600 and Vive is $700, or it could be at $100 to both of those. I don't fully remember. And here's the thing. It works with a PS4. So your entry cost is $400 to play. Whereas with these other VR things, you have to have a fairly substantial PC, not a Mac, and you then have to buy the headset. So you're talking $1,500 plus probably.
and I do want to mention with that PlayStation camera, the coolest thing I ever seen been done with it was with Until Dawn. They do have jump scares in it, and that camera will turn on and actually record right before the jump scare and show your reaction like, holy shit.
Okay, that's cool.
It's kind of cool.
So Willie ran down some of the stuff that came out for Sony at E3. I got a couple notes on some other things that came out of E3. Let me talk Nintendo real quick. They showed off the new Zelda game, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It looks really cool. Comes out in 2017 for the Wii U and the Nintendo DX, which is their next-gen console. So that is presumably coming out sometime in 2017. They did say you can use either the Wii U gamepad or the Wii U Pro controller for it. It was the only playable game that Nintendo brought to E3. So if you went to the Nintendo booth, you played Zelda or nothing else. What is really cool about it is they have finally changed up the formula of The Legend of Zelda. They've added a lot of elements you get from Western RPGs like Skyrim and some of the other Elder Scrolls games. And instead of collecting hearts to gain food, you have to make food. You can scavenge materials to craft your own items. It's an open world. You might have quests, but your side quests can be done throughout, and you can go wherever you want. The open world map is supposedly huge, ginormous. There are areas you can't get to immediately that you have to unlock and get to, but it is a giant open world, and you are encouraged to just wander aimlessly. It looks gorgeous. I kind of want it. It made me go, I kind of want a Nintendo. I'm not going to do it, but damn, it looks good.
if I'm going to get it, I'm going to wait for the NX. That's what I'm going to wait for.
That's the way to do it.
Because you know they're going to release.
If you already have a Wii U and you don't think you're going to get the NX, that is, go ahead and buy it for the Wii U. But don't buy a Wii U just to play Zelda, because you're buying a console that is at end of life. They basically announced no new games for the Wii U at E3. So you're buying a console that has got maybe a year left of life in it. A couple other things that Nintendo did announce: Pokemon Sun and Moon come to the Nintendo DS on November 18th. Of course, there's more Pokemon, and they introduced a Battle Royale mode where 4 trainers fight at one time. I don't know if any of you guys are Pokemon gamers.
Please tell me you have the other Pokemon news as well.
I do have the other Pokemon news. Coming in July to iOS and Android is Pokemon Go. This is the augmented reality Pokemon game that allows you to do battle and capture Pokemon in the real world. It's developed by a game developer by the name of Niantic, who made the game Ingress on Android, so they have experience in augmented reality. The basic gameplay is you look through your smartphone camera while the software puts the digital creatures in the environment around you, and you do battle with people around you, and you are split into 3 factions. I want to say red, blue, and gold.
Might be green, but I think I know it's red and blue.
Red and blue. There's 3 colors for it, but basically the premise is you go around fighting Pokemon and other Pokemon trainers around you to establish control over landmarks in your city. It will be free when it comes out for iOS and Android sometime in July. There's no exact date, but if you want to make it a little easier on yourself, there is a peripheral out now that you can buy, called the Pokemon Go Plus. Let me rephrase. You can pre-order now. It will not be out at launch, but will be out shortly thereafter. That is a wrist-mounted device, basically, that allows you to play Pokemon Go without your cell phone being out. I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but it is $34.
Oh, Jesus.
$34.99.
$34.99, yeah.
And I think it can also just clip to like a lapel, like a pocket or something. I don't think it has to be on your wrist.
I think so too. They had it on Amazon, I think. At least I'd heard they had. I will probably try Pokemon Go, but I don't know that I care enough to go and get a peripheral that is presumably running on Bluetooth that I can't use half the time because... Oh, here we go. It is available on Amazon right now. I'll pull it up on screen share for those of you that have not yet seen it. Here is the Pokemon Go Plus. It is now unavailable. It was available for pre-order, but it can be put on a lapel, it shows.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, all it is when it lights up in colors, you can press a button to catch a Pokemon or something, and that's about it. I'm like, I don't need that. I mean, I do want to try this game out. I haven't played a Pokemon game since I was in 8th grade, but I mean, I still want to try it out.
Apparently, I was too old for the Pokemon craze. I never really dug it.
So I never got into the card
You're
game.
an old man, Bachman.
But the Game Boy game is a lot of fun. It's basically like your old RPGs. And that's
Which one? There's 40 of them.
Well, they're all basically the same. They add new twists on things. But I remember being a kid and getting Pokemon Red on my Game Boy Color. And I was like, this is actually pretty fun. And I've played a few of them from here and there. But, meh. And then I do have to talk about the...
Kindred Spirits, Chris.
Kindred Spirits, I know, right? Internet fist bump.
Pokemon Red on the Game Boy Color.
Yeah, man. A couple other things. Microsoft also did their event on Monday afternoon. We'll do some real quick highlights. They introduced some new Xbox controllers that now work on Bluetooth for extended range, but they are also customizable. So you can go to the Xbox Design Lab online. You can customize the look and color of your controllers, which is interesting, but not worth the price tag of $80. Now, the thing that really interested me is Microsoft announced...
Oh, jeez.
I hate it when that happens. Microsoft announced Xbox Play Anywhere. That is games that are playable on both Windows 10 and Xbox One. Notice I said Windows 10, not 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Basically, the translation is you buy select Xbox One games digitally on Xbox One. There is a Windows copy that is automatically playable on your PC. You can jump back and forth between both those games. Your progress is synced between Xbox and PC. That is really cool.
So what you're saying is you'd have no need to have an Xbox One if you just have a PC.
Potentially.
Yeah.
That's a Microsoft initiative right now, is extending the Xbox to the PC. They have said so themselves. Games that is available on will be ReCore, Forza Horizon 4, Halo Wars 2, and Gears of War 4.
Yeah, those Xbox controllers look cool, but for $80 they're not as cool as the Darth Vader PS4 controller.
I will give you that.
Yeah, that's fair. They did announce a few games for Xbox. I think the highlight was Gears of War 4 coming October 11th of this year. Halo Wars 2 was announced for February 2017. The interesting thing on that is if you're an Xbox gamer, the open beta started on Monday, so go try Halo Wars 2 and be on the beta team. Now, unlike Sony and Nintendo, Microsoft did, in fact, talk about new hardware at this E3. Probably because both these things had leaked out well in advance. It leaked out, I think, over the weekend, the Xbox One Slim, which they're calling the Xbox One S. It drops in August for $299. It is a smaller version of the Xbox One. I think it says it's about 60% of the footprint of the Xbox One. It is white paint with a larger...
How could you get much bigger?
Well, that's true. That's fair. It is white paint with a larger internal hard drive, I think 1 terabyte in size. It is capable of 4K visuals and HDR for video, not for gameplay. The interesting thing on the Xbox One S, no Kinect port. If you want to play Kinect games, you have to buy a USB adapter from them. So it kind of shows that Microsoft is, in fact, pretty much dropping the Kinect, which does not shock anyone.
Yeah, they are backpedaling like crazy. When the Xbox was Xbox One was first announced, you have to have it plugged in or it will not work.
Right, and they've been doing that for a while. The big thing that Microsoft announced is we've heard the rumors about the PlayStation Neo, which is basically PlayStation 4.5. Xbox officially announced Project Scorpio, as they call it, which is an enhanced version of the Xbox One that is slated to drop in fall 2017 that is capable of running native 4K games and supporting VR. Let's see, it's going to have... Sorry, I lost my notes for a second. They did make a point of saying all models of the Xbox One will be able to play the same library of games, including Scorpio. The original Xbox One, the just announced Xbox One S will all play the same things. Phil Spencer, the Microsoft chief for Xbox, said Halo 5 is a perfect example. While it runs at 1080p and 60 frames per second on the Xbox One, the resolution will often drop in order to maintain a solid frame rate. On Scorpio, that is not going to be the case. When a game like that runs on Scorpio, it's going to run at maximum resolution the whole time. Now, this is going to be the most powerful gaming console that comes out when it comes out, based off of the spec leaks compared to PlayStation Neo. It's going to have 6 teraflops of gaming power. For comparison, the Xbox One, the current one, has 1.2 teraflops of gaming power for graphics. It is, it's interesting.
That's a hell of an upgrade.
Now, this will be VR capable. Microsoft has not announced who they are partnering with to be their VR partner. The rumor is it will probably be Oculus Rift because they already have a relationship with the Facebook-owned product. Because if you buy an Oculus Rift, it comes packaged with an Xbox One controller to play all the games. So don't be shocked if they partner with Facebook and Oculus Rift. Launches fall 2017, so wait for the next E3 to see more about it. It looks like a beast. It looks like what they should have put out to begin with, but we weren't quite there in the hardware revisions. It's a beast of a machine, and it beats all the rumored specs for the PlayStation 4. That does not necessarily mean that the PlayStation 4 is not going to change those specs before it comes out. The Neo, yeah.
Yeah. Damn, because I'm wondering, because by the time I move and look at my Xbox, I'll be finishing off my 360 game, so I've been thinking about getting an Xbone. But now it's like, do I want the Xbone, the Xbone 0.5, or the Scorpio?
So if I were going to be buying an Xbox, I would be waiting until Project Scorpio came out in the fall, in all honesty. That's
and then look at all the prices.
This is the problem that they have gotten themselves into, I honestly think, is anyone who's been on the fence about an Xbox now is going to be like, oh, F this, I'm waiting until the new one comes out in the fall.
Well, yeah, because if they're doing the Slim, that should lower the price on the Xbox One. And then when Scorpio comes out, the price on the Slim should go down as well.
So they did say the Slim will be $299 when it comes out in August. I can't remember if I'd mentioned that or not. And I don't recall if they'd mentioned anything about price drops or anything like that for the original Xbox One. I imagine they're just going to stop selling the Xbox One as we see it now. They'll probably phase it out. I see Suncast in the chat room. PC Master Race.
Anything about the pricing?
For the Scorpio?
There is nothing about the pricing of the Scorpio, because I think I heard a rumor about that.
There is nothing official.
I heard it's going to be like a premium price.
Yeah, I've seen nothing official with that. Suncast is probably right in the chat room. Or just build a PC with a GTX 1080. which will still have more teraflops. I'm on board with that. Now, see, here's the thing. If they extend this PC Anywhere or this Xbox Anywhere
it'll play
initiative
with
so that you can just straight up buy these Xbox games on your PC, you might see a lot of people doing that. That's the thing, is how many of these games coming to Xbox will not be extended to the PC. If they're all extendable to the PC, I'll just buy them digitally and play them on a computer. And I think you might see more and more people doing that.
Because I've also been thinking about building a new PC once I move.
Well,
So then the question is, for if I build a $1,000 PC, can I get one with the GTX 1080?
no. Because
See,
I
how
don't
much
think
is that fucking card?
I don't think I know how much. Let's see how much a GTX 1080 costs real quick. I'm not up to date. Let's see.
If that's an $800 video card, I'm not putting that in the PC I'm building.
So the GTX 1070 on Newegg is still $449, and that's a generation behind. So
God damn.
yeah, yeah, you might not be building a PC for $1,000 with that in it. Yeah, Suncast says the most detail they gave about Project Scorpio was 6 teraflops in Christmas 2017. I'd heard holiday 2017, but that's basically the same thing. They might try and get it out around Black Friday, would be my guess. I honestly have no idea, but that is the rest of the E3 stuff. And Willie's right. Sony crushed it. They had the best press event.
Nice.
I do have one outside of E3 kind of rumor
Okay.
that got me really, really excited Friday. Apparently, the Philippine trademark was released for like a release for Xbox One and PS4, or a remake, or like HD res, an update game for 3 games that I really enjoyed personally. One was by High Moon Studios. It was Fall of Cybertron, the Transformers game. Those games are actually pretty good. But the other 2, made by Activision, Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 1 and Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 2. And if those get re-released, I know I'm buying them day one.
Up-res versions of those would be fun. Those games were fucking a blast.
And the X-Men ones, too, that preceded them were also
Yeah,
good.
because it's all based on, what was it, X-Men Legends? Was
Yeah.
the first one that did that overhead that so many of the Marvel games have been based on since then.
And we are running way over on time, I realize, as I look down at the stopwatch on here today.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of cover still.
I blame
for what we were
E3.
into.
So we'll start wrapping things up. Wow, I got all tongue twisted there. After all this E3 talk, we did run late, but there was a lot of E3 coverage to talk about. We'll start wrapping things up with our traditional little segment we call What I'm Into. It's our chance to share with you guys in the peanut gallery watching live, or any listener listening at a later date, what kind of nerdy and geeky things we've been getting into, and what we're planning on getting into next. So I'll go first. I am 1 episode left for Daredevil Season 2, and then I am done with Season 2. It has been fucking awesome. Yeah, I know. I got a late start on it. I fully admit it. I have also been playing around with home automation. I mentioned it last week that I got a Wink Hub for $25 on clearance. I now have it set up so that a lot of my lights are controlled directly through that, scheduled through that. It's pretty cool. I want to get my front door lock set up in there, things like that. Home automation is pretty cool, and I'm very curious to see what Google Home will do for me in the future.
This close to Demolition Man. Illuminate?
Oh, yeah.
Illuminate.
That would be cool.
Half man, half Corvette.
That would be really sweet. Let's see, what else have I been getting into? I have not played any games this week. I have been way behind on playing anything. I haven't played any games in a little while. I've just been busy, and I got sick was part of the problem. And
I was gonna say, Chris, are you sick? Do you have a fever?
I was actually
games.
So
You actually were sick.
The bitch of it was we were doing episode 150 of the Gonna Geek podcast, and anyone who watched that live can hear my voice get progressively worse as I get sick throughout that episode. That's when I first started getting sick, and like at the end, I couldn't talk for more than about 15 seconds before my voice gave out, which was bad. And then I also did, as kind of an experiment, I did 3 episodes of Nerd Alert News this week doing E3 coverage Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is kind of my experiment for Comic-Con because I want to do something similar when Comic-Con comes around. So,
You mean MediaCon?
yeah, that's pretty much what it's turned into now. And I guess the last thing I can bring up that I got into is I kind of went Funko hunting on Friday after work. I only bought 4, but they're all exclusives, and I got the Hot Topic exclusive Unmasked Iron Man from Civil War, and also the Hot Topic exclusive Joker from Suicide Squad wearing a tuxedo.
Got it.
I also got the Captain America exclusive from GameStop where he is throwing the shield, and the Black Widow Avengers Age of Ultron exclusive where she is holding Captain America's shield. The bad thing is I had to go in Hot Topic, and I felt really weird about it because I had worn a Hawaiian shirt to work on Friday just to screw with someone who hates Hawaiian shirts. Completely different story. But here I am, 31-year-old dude walking in a Hot Topic wearing a Hawaiian shirt and jeans, and it was awkward.
What's wrong with wearing a Hawaiian shirt?
It doesn't really fit in with the whole Hot Topic vibe of, you know.
It don't matter if you walk back to the Funko Pop wall. They know you're not there for the emo clothing.
Oh, I know. That's exactly where I went to, and it was
there
actually
for the pops.
it was pretty fun because the girl who was checking me out was like, "Oh, these superhero things are really cool." And we started talking about Daredevil, and I talked to her for like 10 minutes about why she should watch Daredevil. She's like, "I watched the first 2 episodes and couldn't get into it." I said, "Wait for episode 4." It's either 4 or 5. I can't remember. I was like, "You'll be into it."
The
then.
hallway scene. That's in 2.
That's in 2. Yeah, I know. I don't know what her problem was, but
Yeah, maybe she's not a fan of fight choreography. Not everybody likes that.
Yeah.
who knows? That's
Both
what
y'all are missing. Yeah, both y'all are missing the best Funko Pop.
What is
The
that?
Howard the Duck.
I have seen it in the wild. I have not bought it.
He's not a movie villain. He's not on my collector's list.
You don't know. He could have been fucking with the collector out for no reason whatsoever. Could have kicked him while he was down. You don't know.
No, he probably did, but that doesn't make him the villain of the movie.
You bought non-villains, so I don't want to hear it.
Very few. Very few.
Yeah, so that's what I got into, and I don't feel nearly as bad about my Funko addiction, though, when I saw Steve Boyd had posted a Facebook Live video of a store he went to and all the Funkos they had. And then someone had commented and shared pictures of their collection where they have 530 Funko Pops, I think they said. So I was like, you know what? I don't feel bad about the few that I've acquired. And yes,
I think I'm up to 60.
yes, everyone, I do realize these are basically the Beanie Babies of the 2010s. I totally get it. I don't care. I think they're fun. I buy a few here and there that are interesting to me.
They're far
They
cooler
are
because
the
they make
Beanie
for good.
Babies.
Yeah, but they make for good shelf porn. Beanie Babies were never good shelf porn. Funko Pops are pure awesome shelf porn.
Willie's losing it. So, Willie, what have you been getting into,
Beanie
sir?
Baby collector.
Oh, Willie, what have you been getting into?
Well, I've been playing some Uncharted 4 online because it's still fun. But actually, the girlfriend just beat Until Dawn herself.
Nice.
It's probably the first game. And I am missing the camera, so we didn't get any of those jump scares like I mentioned earlier.
Aw.
Yeah, I need to go re-get one because ex-wives and whatnot. Boo! Don't get married ever. But
No.
what else have I been
Never.
getting into? Well, shit. I think I'm out. I'm out. That was it. That's pretty much all I've been doing.
Wow.
Eating, sleeping, playing video games. Hell, it's been quite a year or week.
That's nothing wrong
Cheers,
with that. Well, Bachman, what have you been getting into, sir?
Friday went and saw Central Intelligence. Big Johnson, Little Heart. That movie is fucking great. It does not have all the best scenes in the previews. It is laughs from credits to credits, and some of the cameos in it are fucking amazing. There's 3 huge actors that aren't mentioned in any of the trailers that all show up in the movie. It's fucking great. It's worth seeing in the theater, which I usually never go see comedies on a big screen. This one's worth seeing in the theater, and it's got outtakes during the credits. It's a fucking fantastic movie. And then last weekend, Sunday, for my buddy's birthday, we decided we were going to do a Battleborn, basically, LAN party with a bunch of PS4s. Well, since I hadn't bought it yet because I was putting off buying it because I was trying to get work done, my friend said, fuck it, bought it for me. And so we had 3 flat-screen TVs in the living room and 3 PS4s hooked up so that all 3 of us could play Battleborn together without having to use a split screen.
Nice.
Because their split screen really kind of sucks. But yeah, so I had played the Battleborn beta and then was playing it on my buddy's son's account so that we could do split screen and have access to characters on the second account. So that's still there, but now I have Battleborn on my own, so I basically had to restart for the 3rd time building up one of my characters, which is annoying, but at least now I never have to start over again because I own a copy of the game. And my buddy got it on sale and with his card at Best Buy, which knocks off like 20%. So I got the game and the season pass for like $52. So it's nice because it's got everything on it. And yeah, it's a fun game, and yeah, it's one that of our group of friends, there's like 8 of us that have it, and so it's one where you can usually hop online, see people playing, and join into a game, and so you're always playing with people that you actually know instead of 4 random people. So yeah, it's a fun one. And yeah, getting caught up again with the Douglas Movies Challenge, drawing cards for Pacifist, and then yeah, the Hastings sale. The Hastings clearance sale got me good. They had a stack of movies that were all $1.99, including Blu-rays. So I spent $20 and got 10 films, including, and if you're gonna buy it, you should buy the Blu-ray director's cut of Reindeer Games. I mean, if you're gonna get it, that, and then yeah, I bought
a movie.
I bought a movie I hadn't watched since I think probably before most of our viewers were born. The Switcheroo movie 2-pack. Like Father, Like Son, with Dudley Moore and Kirk Cameron, back before he was insane, and Vice Versa, which is the same movie with Judge Reinhold and Fred Savage.
Vice versa.
God damn, these are so 80s. The clothing that Kirk Cameron's character wears in high school is so fucking ridiculous that, like, it hurts your eyes. They go on a shopping spree sequence when he's in Dudley Moore's body, and he's buying these fucking neon turquoise jackets and fucking snakeskin boots. It's so fucking funny to watch how 80s these movies are. But yeah, for $2, fucking fantastic.
Vice versa. I remember.
Oh, yeah.
Oh god, I watched it so much as a kid.
Yeah, Judge Reinhold playing a kid and like a 10-year-old Fred Savage acting like an asshole adult. Fucking hilarious. And then yeah, I'll try to go through these quick because I went a little more overboard than Chris. For my movie bad guy collection, I added Ronin.
Nice.
I got a Mangalore from The Fifth Element to go along with my Jean-Francois Batista. I got Luke Hobbs, because in the first but Fast and Furious, the first one he's in, he's the bad guy. I got the first Funko Pop on a pallet jack, Hannibal Lecter in mask, all wrapped up. I got the 2 coolest alien critters ever, the Alien and the Predator. So our some serious 80s action film stars right there. And then the bad guy from The Breakfast Club. I got the principal, Richard Vernon. Got you for 2.
You went to the bad guy for The Breakfast Club even?
Oh yeah. And then this was awesome because I was looking for Chucky because I don't have Chucky yet. And so I literally went to the Meridian Hastings and I went through every Funko Pop on every shelf. And on most of the shelves, they had them too deep. So it was literally moving every single pop to find all the ones behind it. No fucking Chucky in the whole building. So I was disappointed, but I already have all the bad guys from Big Trouble in Little China. I did not have the PlayStation exclusive glow-in-the-dark Lo-Pan. So now I've got that one. So yeah, I have all of the bad guys, and including the exclusive from Big Trouble in Little China. So yeah, I bought way too many pops.
You know, I don't feel bad about buying 4 pops right now.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. I bought 8.
I guess I do have to mention that I did get a nerd block in, and they did have 16 candles pop that came in it. A very racist one. Long Duck Dong.
Oh, Long Duck Dong?
I got that
nice.
over there for some reason. I was like, thanks, nerd block.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my next Star Wars Smuggler's Bounty, which is supposed to be Jabba's Palace, so I'm stoked to see what's going to be in that. And I actually had to go ahead and do the Marvel one for the Collector's Core, because I've been looking at those, and they've been putting out some really good boxes on that one as well from Funko. And I hadn't pulled the trigger yet. I saw how awesome the Women of Power one was with like the She-Hulk pop in it, some of the other cool stuff in the T-shirt that was in that one. But the next block that the next box that they're doing is Spider-Man. So I was like, yep, I have to get that one.
Very nice.
So I'll be getting 2 boxes soon.
So I'm glad I'm not the only one that bought Funko Pops this week. But we are running super over on time this week because I talked way too much about E3 with Willie because we did too much E3 stuff, and I'm totally okay with that. Totally okay with it.
You should be
out.
So we're going to wrap things up. As we wrap up, I did want to remind folks, hey, Naki's running a marathon later. So if you did want to support Naki with the marathon she's doing as a fundraiser for, I cannot remember what her charity is, but you can find out for yourself by going over to bit.ly/Naki Marathon, where the N and M are capitalized, the first letter of each letter. You can find that there. Don't forget, we stream this show live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern over on Geeks.live, Channel 3 of Alpha Geek Radio, and soon to be back on Facebook Live once I get that piece figured out. So we want to try and be everywhere. That's our goal. Next live show you can find on Geeks.live is on Monday. It is the official GonnaGeek.com podcast. It starts at 8:45 p.m. Eastern. That is 5:45 p.m. Pacific. I say that so Steven doesn't beat me up about it later. But I think that is going to wrap us up as we get out of here. You guys have any final thoughts for us?
If you back Naki's Marathon, they send you a thank you letter, which is really nice.
That is cool. I have not yet backed Naki's Marathon. That is on my list of things to get done soon.
What up, slackers?
I'm a slacker. What's your point?
If you want to watch a good movie about a marathon, watch Run, Fat Boy, Run.
There you go. I like this plan.
There you go.
Starring Simon Pegg.
With all that being said, we are getting the hell out of here, and we will see you guys next week. But until then, have fun. Bye, guys.
Later.
Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, Channel 3 of the Alpha Geek Radio app, and over at our network home at GonnaGeek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@GonnaGeek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com. Hey guys.
Happy Father's Day.
Ooh.
Idris Elba tweeted, "I am Roland, son of Stephen, son of Henry, true descendant of Arthur, and I have not forgotten. Hashtag the Dark Tower movie, remember the face of your father."
That's why I didn't get it. I don't watch I haven't read Dark Tower.
Yeah, it's one of the things like
Get
the guys that train the gunslingers, it's how they basically say respect your heritage. If you fuck up, they'll tell you to remember the face of your father. And so like it's a huge thing in those books. It's perfect that Idris Elba, who is now the fucking gunslinger, sent a tweet out for Father's Day. I can't believe we forgot to say Happy Father's Day.
I can't either. We suck. Everyone who's watching live, thank you so much for tuning in.
Happy Father's Day.
And Happy Father's Day. I'm turning off our backup recording right now, which is now off of the air. And we're probably going to turn off the YouTube live stuff here too. Thank you everyone who tuned in live. We will see you next week. Bye guys.
But you can't stop it.